Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to InfoComm 2018. Very pleased to have with me Gary Kayye.
Thanks for having me.
Founder of rAVepubs.
Thanks
the
for
infamous
having me.
Gary Kayye.
I don't know, infamous sometimes a good and a bad word. So
It's a good word. It's a good. I'm using it in a good sense.
Okay, good.
Famous and infamous and everything else.
Thanks for having me. It's been great. I know you've done a lot of interviews, and I appreciate you allowing me to be on your show.
Tell us all about your InfoComm then.
Well, I mean,
when did it start? Because we saw you on Sunday or Monday, didn't we?
Yeah, Monday morning. But
Monday morning.
you know, I'm usually here till midnight, and then get back here at 7 in the morning. But you know, my objective is try to see as many booths as possible. And there's 1,100 booths here, or something in that range. The only way to do that is literally spend the whole time on the show floor. So unfortunately, I don't get to attend the education like I used to. I do teach a couple of classes, but the rest of my time is spent walking the show floor.
Yeah. Has it got significantly bigger in the last couple of years?
It certainly feels that way.
Okay.
This is definitely a bigger show than we had here 2 years ago.
Right.
And Orlando was big. I think that this year, I don't think we'll see an attendance growth in the show like we've had the last few years, some big time attendance. But I definitely think that the show, everyone's taking out larger booths because, I mean, you look at the LED companies, the only way to make yourself more impressive is to make bigger and bigger displays. So you have no choice.
And you need to see them further and further away as well, really.
Yeah, you really do. And they are all in one area, and that one area is very popular now because there's so many of them.
And how many staff do you bring over for this show?
We have about 33, 34 here this year. And the one problem we have is we just have to, when the show gets bigger, we have to bring more people. So we have 12 people who are assigned to just shoot product videos full time. We have about 10 people that are assigned for relationships and team building and the game that we do on the show floor, just kind of make it different and fun. And then the rest are assigned to writing and photography.
Explain the game bit where you have to go to the different booths. There was something that we were trying to do. I had to go to the Stampede booth or something today to do that. Explain how that works.
So basically, we thought, I became an InfoComm at that time by about 21, 22 years. And I thought, you know, the one thing our show's missing is fun. People, yes, the receptions are fun, but when we're here on the show floor, we're so serious about everything. And it got to the point where it was almost like cutthroat competition between the manufacturers, even between the publications at one point. And I thought, well, let's bring some fun to this. So I sat down with InfoComm and said, can we do a game where we just play it on the show floor just for fun? And we basically, you know, we try to break even. We never seem to find a way to break even. But we play it on the show floor, make it fun for everybody. And we'll give away this show 10,000 t-shirts and, I don't know, 6,500 pop sockets, which is these things kids like in the back of their phone. It's just for fun. It's just to change the temperature and the air of the show.
Yeah, that's good. But you have to visit stands to complete the challenge.
Yeah, so there's companies that help finance the whole game, obviously. They're trying to draw traffic to their stands. We do it here in the NEC booth, for example. And that's the idea, is to draw the traffic to the booth.
That's a very clever idea. I think also, I mean, one of the things we do with the broadcast sets with NEC is you have to make yourself stand out as an exhibitor.
Right,
I mean, there's people with deep pockets, and then there's a lot of people with, you know, Shenzhen or Chinese money behind them as well.
It is, and you know, this is an interesting philosophy I have. So the reason why I keep bringing more people to the show to make sure we shoot videos, my philosophy is, I remember in 1987, 1988, with Extron when they were really, really small, standing in a booth, a 10 by 10, 10 by 20, begging people to come in my booth. I know what it's like to spend a ton of money and not have anyone know who you are. So I know exactly how that feels. So my thing is, I want us to make sure that with our videos, we're covering every booth on the show floor so that everyone feels special, because we know NEC is going to get covered. You and I are going to cover NEC. Everyone's going to cover NEC. But what about the guy who just spent his last $8,000 in savings to get here? We want to make sure they get coverage too.
And so what have you seen? I know there's a lot to see, but what have you seen that's sort of impressed you?
Let me tell you, there's some neat new technologies that blew me away that I didn't expect to see. And then there's some improvements on some technologies that blew me away. So the one product that I think is the biggest, coolest surprise at the show is this product called Lightform, Lightform, lightform.com, I believe. I didn't know the company was going to be here. I didn't know anything about the product other than I've been talking about this concept of immersive. And it's basically sort of I want to say a camera set that you connect to any projector, and it allows any projector to image map an area and allows you to project on it without having to have someone super technical to set it up, and it's $600. That thing is amazing, and it's going to do really well. I think it's going to be a great product. And then the improvements in display technology, that we're now in the 3rd generation of laser, mind-boggling. Like, you can't walk around this show floor and say that's a bad-looking projector. Everything looks amazing, and how bright they've gotten. you notice none of the lights are down. Like, this is the first year I remember that no projector manufacturer had the lights down in their booth. And then just the sheer size of the new LEDs and the colorimetry of LEDs. I mean, the crystal LED from Sony's just mind-boggling. But Abson's booth looks phenomenal. I mean, they're one of the largest exporters, from what I understand, of LEDs in the world. They did a really good job, and I believe you interviewed the organization that did the content creation for them, and they did a great job putting on a show by telling a story rather than just showing their displays. That's just a few.
Well,
in the audio side, wireless has just gotten so much better. I mean, we used to have all the interference we'd have from the show floor, and some of the stuff Sennheiser's done, some of the stuff Shure has done. Biamp with their new version of Devio, the new Huddle product from Clear One is super impressive. That was shown as like a sort of like a suite product. They didn't have it out in the open, so I don't know if how much promotion you're going to be able to find that product. But when it does come out, you're going to be duly impressed.
Have there been very many Whisper Suites this year, or
a lot of Whisper Suites?
There is, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot more than I've gone to more than I have in the past. There's a new sort of generation of technology with regard to collaboration, wireless collaboration, and how to make it simpler and easier. And there's a lot more AV over IP than I thought there would be. I knew that AV over IP would be big here, but there's 20 companies I'd never heard of before that all of a sudden have AV over IP stuff. So that combination has made this show really interesting for me.
If you had to rank the show out of 10?
I mean, how could you not rank it a 10? I mean, it's very well organized. I think they do a great job with the show. The attendance, the quality of the attendance. I mean, when you talk to the exhibitors, I mean, even NEC, Jennifer from NEC was telling me earlier that the quality of the exhibitors, the attendees are getting
and bizarrely, huge amounts of international attendees as well.
Listen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with ISE and Infocom, because, I keep telling people from the U.S. they need to go to ISE because ISE is not the European version of Infocom. It's like having a whole different show. And what the same thing's happening here, where although you do see some of the same products, there's a lot of companies that exhibit here that don't go to ISE, and a lot of companies at ISE that don't exhibit here. So you really got to go to both shows.
Good for Avixa. You go to both, you exhibit at both.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting pretty. They're sitting pretty right now. I think they've made the right decisions, and of course they've expanded to new shows. They just announced the show in Bangkok.
That's right.
So they're going to...
the Bangkok show, we interviewed David Labuskas yesterday. The Bangkok show is May 2019, and then of course there's another Infocom China show this year as well. Yeah, I mean they seem to be in a position where they can do no wrong. The name's hard to pronounce in some areas of the world, so I don't know if that was the greatest thing, but I'll tell you, they've done a great job with branding, and they're rolling. It's interesting strategy. They've decided that they want to embrace end users. 10 years ago, we were like, we don't want end users at this show. They've decided to embrace end users.
Infocom 2018.
This has got to happen, right? We're doing an interview here, right? But that's what happens, right? Thanks for having me.
Thank you very
See
much.
you tomorrow morning.